before I started working at NAVSEA, I had another contracting job at Andrews Air Force Base, and we did it was called the Physical Disability Board of Full Review,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to answer like all the emails, the questions, and if anybody had like messed up applications, I had to contact them.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just get a lot of people, want to threaten, like, "Oh, I'm gonna call my congressman." I was like, "Please do, that's your right." Like, I guess
Exactly.
they thought it was gonna change the situation, but I'm like, "Please do." Yeah, because they would contact me, and the only thing they're gonna do is, just ask how long, when did they submit their application, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. So they can't force me to, change anything. We gotta wait on the docs and stuff like that. But I would get a lot of people threatening, their congressmen and stuff like that. I would get people like straight up. I had this one guy, he was a Marine. Every other word was like the F word. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
in
He
that
was
day,
flustered. He was
and
frustrated. He was frustrated.
so that day I wasn't feeling. I was like, you know what? What's his
I
number? I called this guy up. I was like, do you think that's professional for you to call somebody, email somebody all these cuss words and stuff like that? And then one of the things that what I kind of got under my skin, he was like, "Oh, you civilian, you don't know nothing about the military." I'm like, "Look, I'm
what?
retired. I did my time. I know what it's like."
Mm-hmm.
Then but before we got off the phone, he apologized. Like that,
Mm-hmm. He was
man.
frustrated. That's
Hmm.
one thing I've learned. Um, People, you just don't never know what they're going through or how many phone calls how many hands they've been switched back and forth to.
Hmm.
And so you get flustered, you know what I'm saying? And not saying that he was right, but I'm glad
Hmm.
you was able to pick up the phone and have a conversation with him. Somebody wouldn't have did that.
Yeah, correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would get that a lot. But see, being a YN, you deal with a lot of people who
Hmm.
they feel. I understand like when the situation is happening, but you're not the like. I just want people. I try to get people to understand. You're just not the only person.
That's going through it.
Yeah, that's going through. Yes, we're trying to help you out, trying to get you paid or whatever it is. But
Mhm.
man, some of these people like it's like they want to come to blows and stuff like that. I'm like,
But
come
you know
on, man.
what? This is the way I look at it. And I know it's not the person's fault who has to take the call. It's the people that's behind that person who's making the decisions. But
Hmm.
a lot of times people have different aspects of their life that's affected by that decision, you know. And at that point they're just to their wits end, and you just don't never know what their driving force is. Like, if they don't make a decision soon, I could possibly lose this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
It's just, I don't know if people even think of that while they're making these decisions. It's kind of,
Yeah, working that job was a very rewarding job because
mm,
we help vets. Sometimes they would get their medical discharge percentage like up and get medical
that's
retirement stuff like that. So we help people, but sometimes some of these people really
mm,
had like issues before they even joined, and like it's crazy. You met some people, I'm sure in your time, you be like, how did they even get in? Like it's crazy, just because I work at NAVSEA and you work in building 197 too, right?
mm-hmm,
You remember there was that shooting?
mm-hmm. I was there at NAFAC during that time.
So I was at NRD Richmond during that time, and the recruiter that brought him into the Navy was working there with us.
Connections, when I'm telling you, right? Right.
Uh-huh.
I was just telling some coworkers about that, you know, the active shooter situation. I'm like, you just don't never know what people are going through in their headspace.
Hmm.
You just don't never know. That's why I always pay to treat people with grace. Even how can you decide that a person don't deserve it?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Like, they don't know. They do. Everybody does.
Yep.
Everybody does. But that was a crazy day. I remember, because I remember a lady coming over. to NAVFAC because I was at my desk and we locked the building down. And she ran over there. She had blood on her and everything. And I took her I remember taking her into the, changing room, dressing room.
Yeah.
And giving her, like, I had clothes and shoes and stuff in the locker, I remember them coming through, sweeping the building, with their guns or whatever. That was a crazy day. I literally left my car and purse, ID, everything you possibly think of on that base for at least a week. I had no money, no nothing, no keys to my apartment. I'm not laughing, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I had
now
nothing.
You think about it.
For a week, I was strong. I'm like, I ain't got no money. I had to borrow money from my friends, like, because I had no identification to even go to the bank to say,